we'll have to disagree on the death tax. Thank you, I didn't know that you were there for corporations, that's good news. We'll make sure we get it passed in the next Congress, but we just need to get rid of the death tax, period. Because it moves money overseas, you talk to all these business leaders, they spend half their time with their lawyers and their accountants trying to avoid being put under by some potential fall of a family member or you know, to find ways they can move the money to their next level. It also is a sense of fairness. Why did you die? Can you not leave it off to your family, your heirs, or to other people? And I agree on simplification. It's good to see if we get it done. I'm sure that if for some reason you do win in November, I hope that becomes one of your definitely priorities with you and Nancy Pelosi. If hopefully Nancy Pelosi is still there. Thanks.
Okay, those are good ideas. I did always like the one where I think it was in the paper where it was very simplified form to the IRS. How much did you make? And the second question was, please send it in. So, I like that.
Can't be in favor of that.
Yeah, I think my CPA would argue simplification, but I understand where you come from. There's a whole industry that loves dealing with the IRS. But anyway, we have another question, and what we did with the questions was we have a group that went through the questions, and since we are a business group, we're focusing in on business questions right now. So that's why we're headed in that direction. So Dave, you have a question?
Yeah, thanks for this opportunity, gentlemen. My name is Dave McMullen. I'm a local small business owner in the area. And my question is, we've been hearing a lot about card check legislation, and it just seems to continuously be in the forefront of discussion. And my question is, what is your position on card check legislation, and why is it important?
It's your turn.
Okay.
Okay.
There's aspects of the card check legislation that I support. There is a problem that when unions finally form, they have an election, there is a long period of time frequently between when they form and when they are able to actually get a contract. Many times it's years. There are delaying tactics that are put in place. I also think that there are a lot of things wrong with the process under which you have a campaign once you decide you're going to have a vote. I do think in many instances, I think both unions and businesses are disadvantaged. Unions do have a disadvantage of not being able to go into the workplace and make those comments. So there were a lot of aspects of card check legislation that would improve that process, that would give unions, I think, a fairer opportunity to organize. Because I know businesses have a historic problem with unions, but I grew up in a union family. My father was part of a machinist union, even though he was a ramp serviceman. And if it wasn't for the benefits and wages that they were able to get, I never would have made it out of college, much less into Congress. So I believe that unions have a place to protect workers and make sure they have equal access to wages, benefits, and the benefits of the company. I think my father loading bags on that airplane was every little bit as important as the executives. They didn't make as much money, but he at least got a fair share, and the unions had a lot to do with that. And I think they should have the right to organize. There is one aspect of the law that is very problematic, and that is the union proposal that you get just sort of a card check. You get 50% of the people sign a check, you're automatically a union. That was part of the larger package, which I did support. I don't support that piece of it. I spoke with the unions, we talked about it, and the Senate, I thought, was going to pull it out. They're probably not even going to be able to get the thing passed now. But I voted for the larger package because I do believe that working families need the right to organize, and they need a fair right to organize so we can have a fair election and have it quickly, not have it dragged out forever.
This card check legislation is just a bad policy to begin with. To think that unions don't have an upper hand in organizing is crazy. The unions are organizing, and they're organizing tough. Of course, mostly organizing with the public sector. This Labor Day was the first Labor Day in the history of the United States where now more half the people who are in unions belong to government unions. But the card check legislation just needs to be done away with. I think the unions have enough protections. They have enough places to organize. And if anything, the free market system will allow, and with the rules and regulations that we have that protect workers today, unions, especially the unions in the industrial sector, are good enough the way they are right now. I do not support any more enhancement of union rules that make it easier for unions to organize. The workers will decide. And you know, there's heavy-handed tactics done by some of the unions. You know, some of the unions are necessary, like the police guilds, the fire guilds, the Boeing unions do a pretty good job, but even though sometimes they get a little bit overstated in what they do. So I definitely will vote against any card check legislation as written right now. Thank you.